Hi everyone and welcome to episode 112 from Off the Arrow Shelf. I'm Rob, your host, and as you can probably hear, I'm croaking a bit. Sorry for that. I'm suffering a bit with my chest again and all my health. So, my croak and sounding a bit hoarse, that's all be what it is. I thought I'd give you a big rundown of what's been going on and what I've been doing for the last few weeks. It's been a bit quiet on the podcast front, partly because we took the half-term week off for a family holiday. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that we went skiing, introduced my son to skiing for the very first time on a mountain rather than just indoor ski slopes. And I think it would be fair to say it was a really good week. He's taken to it in a really big way. I thought he'd be exhausted because he has 3 hours of lessons in the morning, and I thought, all right, we'll sit down and relax a bit and not want to do much in the afternoon. But he would insist on doing another 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon with us, showing us everywhere he'd been in his lessons. So that was really good. Had a few falls, but that's the nature of it. Fantastic hotel. Sport Village in Andorra, Celdeo. Brilliant food, absolutely fantastic food. Their sister hotel, the Sport's got great childcare facilities. Can't really fault it. It was great. I think the only downside was a bit of a whiteout with the snow on the Saturday, making it really difficult conditions. Really warm. But anyway, this is an archery podcast, so enough of me talking about skiing and enjoying family holidays. What else has been going on? Well, down at the Wood, we've managed to finalise the new half of the course. That's targets 1 to 18 are all set and have been tweaked over the last few weeks. And there's other areas in the course as well. Some of you will have, I know that I'll listen to this will have shot the course. We have changed some of the ones down by the golf course side. We've tweaked a few of them, made a couple of them longer and changed the angles on the others. So we're hoping to be able to give people a really good course this year when we announce our dates for the Open, which haven't been finalised yet. Will probably be finalised our AGM that's just coming up this week. But yeah, so that's 18 targets that have been set, and I have been tested by both the club archers, the ones that are on the coaching course that Sharon's currently running, along with another group of archers that were fantastic actually. On last weekend I had the privilege of taking 5 guys round our wood and our wanting to join the National Field Archery Society and have an assessment. They're all experienced archers, experienced field or roving shoots from the Archery GB community rather than National Field Archery Society. So they were wanting to join the NFAS to get a bit of an idea of what's involved, but also just to be able to get out and do some more shoots. And that's why they contacted myself. They were my details have been passed on to them, and they got in touch with me. And we spent from 10 o'clock till about 5 o'clock shooting around our wood, and me giving them an assessment on their shooting, knowledge of the National Field Archery rules, written assessments, etiquettes, and all of those sort of things. So it was a really full-on day. But it was a really, really good day. They got a chance to try a woodland that they'd never shot before. Got an idea of what a field course under NFAS is like, with the different distances, having to adapt to your footing. We don't put any 3Ds out that remain out. We only put 3Ds out for club shoots or our opens. I'm just going to pause this for a second whilst I get a drink, so excuse me. Okay, so I'm back, and I was saying we only have what we call paper faces, and these paper faces are printed onto a mesh, and they last really, really well. They're fantastic. For winter conditions, they are brilliant because they don't get soggy, they don't get eaten by slugs and snails and anything else. and they hold up to a lot of arrows. Yes, you can, if we had a lot more compound archers, that would be, or maybe just more accurate archers, which would be shooting out the 20 or 24, yes, they'd probably get a bit threadbare. But for the majority of the time, they're working really well. And because they're printed onto this kind of fabric mesh, when an arrow goes in, yes, it'll break some of the threads, but it usually opens it up. And I think they were really impressed by them. That was great. From my point of view, it was a really good day because I got to meet some new people. We got to share some experiences of different types of shoots, different types of bows. Also getting an insight into how other societies run, how they organise things. NFAS, or as some people call them, or NFAS as I tend to call it, has quite a few different shooting classes, and it can be really complicated for somebody who's coming from a different society into ours. So it's like with flat bow, for example, under NFAS flat bow, you can't have a bow that's cut to center. It's got to be proud of center, which makes tuning the arrows a little bit more challenging. But in other societies, you can have a bow that's cut to center. Bare bow rules are different. So all of these different aspects can be quite confusing for people coming from a different society. But in all, it was a really good day. Some of the guys were shooting hunting tackle, some of the guys were shooting trad bow hunter, and I think they were surprised by some of the distances. And I've got to take my hat off to them. They were having a go from some of the wasp pegs at the longer shots. And I think they were surprised as to how sneaky or devious we are on the course, and how just changing things slightly really throws them out for distance judgment and the like. But that was a really good day. I enjoyed that. I think they went away happy. They all passed with flying colours. Their shooting skills brilliant. They can certainly know their bows. They could break down their bows and talking about archery stuff and safety rules, everything like that was fantastic. Different classes they struggled with a bit, but actually talking about it and helping them through that came out really well. What else has been going on? I have been immensely privileged, in my view, of being a guest on Archery Geek Outdoors, Rich's podcast. He'd invited me to go up and record with him just about all things archery, and I think that is, let me just check which episode that is before I go any further. It was episode 73, and I wasn't expecting to be talking for that long. Rich does some fantastic podcasts, and he's had some fantastic guests on there. He's had Joel Turner's been on there from the States, Maddie's been on there, loads of guys, and he's really good at just talking naturally with his guests, and I was very lucky to be invited onto that. First time I've ever been invited onto a podcast. And I thought it would be a couple of hours, but Rich does tend to like his longer episodes, and we ended up chatting. Well, the podcast is about 3.5 hours long. We were actually chatting for far longer than that. But that was great. He was really nice, and it was a very comfortable, easy conversation talking about all things archery, shooting, and styles. And he's presently, if you haven't had a chance to listen to some of his podcasts, he's transitioning from shooting a compound bow for years to shooting a trad bow, and he's suddenly realised it's a bit more complicated to shoot a single string than I think he was expecting when it comes to spining in arrows and everything. He was actually round at the weekend, and we spent some time on the range here trying to work out his anchor, trying to get him to get up to a release, because obviously there's the difference with shooting a single string compared to a compound is when you're at full draw, you are holding that entire weight of that bow, and that's very different to a compound. It's something that is interesting for him, and I've got to take my hat off to him. he's doing it in a really good way. He's been really enthusiastic about it, and he's really deep dived into it. He's trying out. What did we have? We had some 350s, 400s, 500 spines, and we were trying to bare shaft tune and trying to get intersettle his anchor and release. So yeah, well done, Rich. It's a big thing to go for that. And as for me, I'm going through a bit of transition myself. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to shoot compound this year or shoot barebow this year. Part of the reason or the rationale behind this is that my son is wanting to try compound, and Rich was fantastic. He's helping me set up the sights for my son's compound, and so he's thinking of trying, or he is going to try and do that. And if I swap to compound, I'll be on the same shooting group as him at tournaments or the national championships. And if I swap to barebow, I'll be on the same course as him as well. So it means that it's going to be a bit of a shock for me, because I've always shot hunting tackle or flat bow, which is wooden arrows from a recurve, or a flat bow, American flat bow, or what my American, so listening to this, what you'd classify as a longbow. So that's a bit of a transition. I've been trying out different carbon arrows. In fact, I've been trying out my, he says, picking them up. I've got some Eastern Carbon Legacies that I've been trying out my bow. They seem to be going all right, actually. I'm quite impressed by these. They're 500s, 100 grain point up front, and I've been comparing plastic vanes to feather fletchings, and the size of fletchings and vanes that I've gone for seems not to make a huge amount of difference. I've got a 4-inch shield fletching, which is the feather one, and then I've got a parabolic plastic, which is quite a low profile, but it's a 3-inch. And quite frankly, they're going like darts. Testing them out to 35 yards, and they're grouping. Now, I would say they're grouping very well, but that's down to me not shooting as well as I'd like to. But they are grouping certainly at 20 to 25 yards. Past that point, I need to get my head into shooting them, because they're slightly lighter. They're definitely performing better than the woods, but I've had to change out the button on my plunger button on my bow, so I've now got one plunger button that's set for my wooden arrows, and I've got one now set for the carbons. I'm also trying out, and I'd forgotten I actually had these. Sorry, I just smacked the mic. And this is a real blast from the past. I've got some Eastern Access full metal jackets, and they're a 400 spine, and they're going really well out of the bow too. So it's interesting to see what range I'm being able to or a range of arrows and spines. This is all a bit new to me, because as I said, I've always cut my teeth very much on wooden arrows. And so going down the route of shooting vanes and learning carbons, it's all new. So it's quite nice. It's something new to learn. But we'll see how that goes. So what else has been going on? Not a huge amount. As I said, we've had the course set, and that's done now. A few interesting shots in there. The NFAS results for the voting haven't been released yet, but I'm expecting them to come out in the next week or so. I think the magazine's going to drop really soon. Sorry, as you can tell, I'm coughing like mad. Otherwise, that's about it. My objectives for the next few weeks is to get rid of this cough, because I had it when I was on holiday. It wasn't too bad. I think it was the cleaner air up at the mountains helped, but come back and it's doing a number on me, and I'm not sleeping at all well. I'm probably getting about 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, which is exhausting. Probably why I'm not that, not making that much common sense right now, for which I apologise. You might say you can't notice the difference. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. Had some guests, took some people around, did a bit of coaching, trying out some new bows, and being a guest on the podcast. That's all. So this is going to be a really short little episode, but hopefully that's been of use to you. Just give you a bit of kind of touch base as to what's been going on. If you want to reach out to me, check out offthearrowshelf.com, the website. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on X, formerly Twitter, I'm on Threads or under Off the Arrow Shelf. And I think that's about it. I'll try and do another episode in a couple of weeks because I've got a few shoots that are coming up. Hopefully I'll be well enough for them, and I'll be trying to do some shoot reports. Otherwise, that's it, folks. Thanks for listening as always. I hope you're all doing well. I hope your commitment to archery is carrying on. As I said before, think about New Year's resolutions of just keeping going and helping out and doing things. And that's it. Enjoy your shooting. Take care of yourselves. And thanks for listening. Take care.